Happy New Year's, guys, and Happy New Year's Way of the Hunter. Hopefully 2024 is a good year for everybody. I couldn't decide on a thumbnail to use, so I had to put together that, that little slideshow there. Hopefully it wasn't too painful. Today I'm not too sure how much hunting I'll actually be doing here, just watching some mule deer here. I thought it'd be good to go over the, actually white-tailed deer, I guess. Don't even know what I'm looking at. I thought it'd be good to go over the question and answer little thread or little document the NRG developers released. But first, let's just take a little look here at these guys here. I think there's two-star matures in here. So I want to take a look at their antlers real quick. That guy's a young guy. Oh, this guy's clipping through a doe. This guy's looking... I should actually pause it when I do this. Oh no, he's a little lopsided there. He's gonna be middle of the road. How's this guy? I mean, he's looking pretty good for a 2-star. A 2-star mature. He's looking. Oh no, he's got one whole extra time. Okay, they're both lopsided. Oh well, so it doesn't really matter which one we take here. Probably just wait for him to stand. There it is. I think I still have the 30-06 on me. So we'll take a deer here on New Year's Eve. I'll never get a shot back at him. And then we'll load up the Q&A that Devs did here. 100 meters. Let's sneak one in here. Can I get over here without spooking these guys? I think we're just on hiker. There we go. Down he goes. Yeah, they should be middle of the ground here. Or middle of the road here. The recording's going to be a little awkward for me actually because I picked up a new microphone. Boxing Week sale. I think maybe I've got it amplified a little bit too much. It's got lots of little knobs and things to tweedle with and figure out. So I'm not too sure how the audio is going to fully come out. I've been doing a few tests, but I think I'm gonna be louder than normal. So anyways, hopefully it's not too bad. I was having a little issue with like keyboard noises and stuff like this. Anyways, I got a bit to work on there. I needed a new mic for sure though, so hopefully this one works out okay. If I got too much gain on it, I'll have to work on it in future episodes. But anyways, there's the shot, and let's just see where he's at. Pretty much the 30-06 did the job there. 67% higher than I thought. Oh well, that's fine though. Let's just sell him off. And yeah, that's what I thought I would do. I think we'll load up that Q&A. I looked through it briefly. Yeah, so if you didn't know that the devs did this, they took a bunch of questions about a month ago or so, and then they took the whole time to compile all the questions together from the community and pick and choose the ones that they wanted to release and answer, and they just came out with it just a day or two ago. So I'm going to load up the document. I looked at it briefly just to see if there's any big shocking news in there or anything like that. But it was pretty much what I expected. But let's go over that, and because it has stuff to do with what's coming in 2024 and all that. And maybe I'll relate it back to the video I just released there a couple days ago. It wasn't really a rant, but it was well, have you seen it? And I'm surprised with the community feedback on it, actually. I was hesitant to do the video because it took me 3 tries to do it. But really positive feedback on it, actually. Even people that didn't agree with a lot of the changes, everybody was pretty respectable over the whole thing, and even the folks that disagreed, they had some really well thought out and put a lot of effort into the response. So I might, after the Q&A, go over a few of those, some of the responses. Yeah, it's got a good 1,000 views or something like that, and I know I kind of hit the mark for a lot of people, mainly because that the basic metric of the little likes and dislike things. The wind's blowing them, or blowing my center right at them. No wonder they're running away there. I don't know, as of this time, it's got like 98 likes on the thing and 2 dislikes, so I think that's a pretty good ratio for a hot topic like that. I thought it was going to be, I thought the video was going to get bashed a lot harder than it was. But a lot of people agreed with it and had a lot of supporting comments for it, so I definitely appreciate everybody with all the kind words on that one. But I'm already 5 minutes in the video and I haven't even got to the Q&A thing, so that's mean I don't know how many people actually know that it's out. I don't know how much they publicized it. They probably put it up on Steam and they definitely put it on the Discord. But I'll load it up now. I gotta figure what browser I'm gonna fire it up in, probably alongside the toolbox here. So yeah, here it is. I just opened it up right beside my little toolbox here. Yeah, so I do apologize if there is an audio thing going on or not. I did testing the best I could with the mic, but I don't know if there's any kind of weird thing coming in the background or anything like that, or if I'm too loud or anything. If there is, I'll probably still put the video out, trial by fire kind of thing, unless there's something really critical. But I just want to put that out there because I'm not actually too sure. I did a bunch of testing, but you don't really know until you start doing it, anyways. So here it is. I don't really know what I'm going to go through here. This is just the intro. I don't know if they have anything important in the intro or not. Okay, yeah, the intro here is just kind of like a basic PR thing where they're saying, you know, they hear all the requests, but this document's focused on what they can actually talk about and commitment to the roadmap. So let's take a look here. So I might not touch on some of these that much. When I skimmed through it the first time, some of them weren't, you know, they'll be interesting to some people and not too interesting for others. Like the first one, they just want to know, like, elaborate on the workflow to develop a new animal. So interesting if you're sort of interested in how the development works. But it's just a neat little read there. What else we got here? Any plans for dynamic weather season system? Oh, that's a good question. Introducing features, snowstorms, everything. Sounds like a massive feature. We totally understand the appeal of the dynamic seasons, but doing it well would take a lot of resources. Okay, so that's basically nope. Why is there no walking speed adjustment, dynamic track system, and why are hills transparent to detection? The hills aren't actually transparent to detection anymore. They used to be. So I guess that kind of relates back to my last video. I guess it's still unclear, right? People can't tell how noisy they're being, right? And they did change this. I've definitely noticed it. You know, the first year of the game, I don't actually know when it snuck in, when they got the fix in. The first 6 months, I know for sure, the hills were all transparent. But let's just see what they say. Yeah, so I'm just going to mainly sum up, because it's a long document, like, to read, if I had to read it all out. But basically, the different walking speeds, they're just saying here, it's just not high enough priority, so you know, maybe down the road. There's also, what else was there? Oh, here's the terrain one. Oh, the dynamic tracking. They recognize that it's not living up to, you know, players' expectations. Right here, living up to its potential. And they recognize the room for improvement, so it's on their minds. And then the terrain, basically they say that it is working, just like my thoughts on it were they've sort of sorted it out. So they basically are just, I guess, continuing to look at it. Making tweaks and fixes and continue to do so. Thus far, they've not been able to pinpoint a bug that would cause animals to disregard terrain. So that definitely was in the game at one point, but yeah, no, it's been working ever since, in my opinion. Maybe the question's from someone that hasn't played in a while. I don't know. It's still not super great. Again, I'll come back to that. They should be having better feedback to the players so they can tell if how far their sound's going or something. Will we get a Lodge DLC anytime soon? We are not planning that at the moment, but we have seen your feedback about wanting more space for taxidermies. Okay, the Lodge in the soon upcoming DLC map is going to be our biggest yet. Oh, cool. There's a little, there's a nice little tidbit there. Massive Lodge. The Tikamoon one seemed fairly small to me, but I'm certainly nowhere near filling it up. It just didn't have a whole lot of, like, the full body mounts. Will there be more adjustments to age cycles or a mode where players spawn into fresh spawns every time, catering to those limited time for extended play sessions? We currently do not have any plans to introduce new game modes. However, with Tiga Moon Plains DLC, we did bring a fresh mode called Free Hunt for those who enjoy a more relaxed hunting experience without constraints of completing the story. If you'd like to start with, okay, they just say basically use multiplayer lobbies. Are there plans for adding more diverse animals such as rhinos, cheetahs, elephants, alligators, mountain lions? Okay, a lot of cool animals. Sorry, really cannot say how we're actively working. Okay, so no info there. Are there plans to introduce more fur types for I read this one earlier because we want it for the predators, right? But they're just talking about we got plans to expand the rare fur options by more albino and melanistic. Well, we got plenty. It's just they're going to do the same ones over and over again, I guess. Additionally, we're fine-tuning the rareness settings to ensure more balance. Okay, so nothing super informative at the moment there. How do animals age? How many hours do they... Okay, well, we know this one. Animals age 1 year when 3 in-game days pass, and they have a safeguard. Yeah, well, most of us already know that one. The cooldown's about 5 minutes per day or something like that. Like real time. I don't know it exactly, but just hang out in the game a little bit every single in-game day, and then it'll count towards one of the 3 days. About 5 minutes or so should work. Is the development team considering the addition of a spotting scope? Oh, yeah. What did they say on this one? This was pretty much just a hard no eventually. Sorry, this is one highly requested items that we have decided not to do. We understand why you want a scope with up to 60 times magnification, but the performance considerations for such a scope are extremely severe. I'm so puzzled about that, really. Having large maps and long draw distances is one of my favorite aspects of Way of the Hunter, but it's simultaneously quite demanding on the hardware. Yeah, I was one of the ones that wanted the spotting scope, but mainly so we could get hunter sense information from longer distances. But yeah, we do need to zoom in more. I guess the new 21 times elite scope helps with that though these days. I guess we don't really need to zoom in much more in that scope, but it'd be nice to have a steady binoculars that doesn't. Any plans to add more items for the gear slotted character, and so items are considered to future additions? Oh, this is I was mumbling about that last video. All these gear slots we can't use. Yes, indeed, we're just putting the finishing touches in the elevated stands, which will soon be filling up those gear slots. Nice. Filling up the gear slots. It's just one item. Okay. Is there different kinds of stands? It's an interesting answer. Will we get variable zoom binoculars added to the game? Never say never. Will the game consider partnerships with different gun manufacturers? Okay, yeah, they've always been wanting to do this. We like having firearms and gear for real brands, and we know that there is a long list of manufacturers that you would like to see added. New partnerships constantly ongoing. Okay, so it's just a PR answer. Will there be different bullet weights and types introduced in the future updates? In short, yes, we have plans to introduce different ammo types. And while we can't delve into specifics at the moment, we do intend to incorporate varying weights for the upcoming ammunition alternatives. They're adding different weights. Okay. That's new info. We need the new ammo types though. We really need the buckshot for the shotguns and the slugs. That's a big one. But they need to do hollow points and soft points and polymer tip and all the different ones for the different calibers. Well, are there plans for expansion set in Australia in the near future? Typically, we don't unveil details about the future deals until a short period before release. Stay tuned. Okay, yeah. Well, they've got tips in game about Australia. That's one of my guesses is one of the 2 maps will be Australia. Maybe the next one and then probably a snow one or something. I don't know which one will be first. How many new maps could we expect to see in 2024? Well, we already know that. 2 of them. Well, we are planning to release 2 maps in 2024, and while we cannot discuss any specifics to their locations or animal art, we can say that both maps will... Okay. See, some of these, it's nice that the developers put this out there, but, I mean, why even have that question in there? I guess it's good because if you're checking back on the game, it's answering questions that, I do get it. But it's a pretty basic question there. Have you considered implementing 40 FPS mode? Oh, this is just a tech question. We have not, but it's a compelling proposition. Okay, so they're just new tech or setting options. I could elaborate on the reasons behind the decision to not implement official mod support in the game. The primary reason is simple: the time and resources it would take to implement. We view every feature through the lens of opportunity cost. Working on something. That line there harks back to the video I just made. View every feature through the lens of opportunity cost. Like, it is a business, and they gotta do that. I think they're, in my opinion, this is a little bit about what my last video was about. I think their focus might be, no, I'm not too sure. It's hard, right? Because they gotta make flashy, fun stuff to get revenue. Anyways, that just gets me a little bit sideways there. But I get it. Working on something inevitable means not working on something else, and implementing mod support would be quite... Yeah, well, that makes sense. So, yeah. No, I get that. I was more thinking that it should have been released that way, or... this game would have been fantastic with mod support, because they sort of are going sandbox mode in the game. The Way of the Hunter's kind of on an odd spot, because it's a video game hunting experience, and then it's also a sim, and it's also a sandbox. It's like they're trying to do three things at once, right? If you look at the difficulty modes, right, most of them, the 4 lower ones, are all video game kind of modes, because you get all the hunter sense and all the heads-up display stuff, and then the ranger is the sim one, and then the free hunt is their sandbox mode, right? So they're trying to do a lot. Anyways, yeah, part of my last video was I'm thinking they should kind of pick one and go for it. The mod support would work in the sandbox kind of thing. Anyways. Is there ongoing work on optimizing the game's performance as it still faces challenge on mid-range PCs? Yeah, there is ongoing work on optimization. However, we should also concede that you will most likely not see huge performance gains on PC with your existing setup. We'll continue to make improvements where possible to bring a smooth and more stable experience to all players. Between the size of the maps, there's maps UE4, the amount of background simulation of all the draw distance. I'm just going to look at this here just for a second, because I still don't think I don't know enough about it, but I still think it can run smoother. I know, like, there's what Unreal Engines can do, and then it's a huge map in Unreal Engine, and yeah, so, I'm not going to have much to say on this one. It always bugs me when I have simulation games that are much more challenging on the system than Way of the Hunter can possibly be for simulation. It's just simulating like animals that aren't rendered, or just like data points moving around the map. Anyways, yeah, because I always think about Flight Simulator or whatever. I'm flying around New York City in high detail with all the photogrammetry and multiple computer systems working in the sim, in the plane. But we can't, it's unreal. I don't know much about it. It's just from a consumer point of view and a customer point of view, it's a little weird with me when stuff's not optimized like other games are. And that's not even saying Flight Simulator is super optimized, but it's come a long way anyways, just as an example. Back here, the mod support. That would be really cool. I fully support that, because if they ever did come to it, because if there was mod support, we would get the game modded to weigh, different options, and like things would be fixed. Like, one of the first mods that would come out is here, have Hunter Sense out for 0.5 kilometer or whatever, right? People would be putting that stuff in and fixing the bugs through mods. Not to mention probably adding animals and fixing sounds and adding rare fur types on their own. See, I'm fine with that not being official. Just I kind of wish they did do that route. I keep thinking of Planet Zoo or something? They have mod support on there, and they already have like 200 animals official for that zoo game, and they're done well. But there's another like 300 that you can get for free in their mod support thing. It's anyways. Consideration for implementing AMD. Okay, yeah, just tech stuff. We do not have plans for it now. Okay, it's AMD. Skip. Is it possible to add cross-platform play functionality? Yeah, this was dropped. They dropped the ball on this right out of the gate. Unfortunately, the game will not offer cross-platform multiplayer support. It barely offers multiplayer. So this is a huge scar on the game. That's just not great. Get proper HDR. Okay, whatever. Right now, it's not something we have on the radar. Are there plans to fix multiplayer issues in the game? Oh, let's read this one. Yes, we have every intention of making the multiplayer experience as smooth as it can be. We know that it's been bumpy for many players. We apologize for that. Been apologizing for a year and a half. But we have been working on fixes and improvements, and we were happy to see that things have improved significantly for many of you after the latest update. It has improved, I guess, but it's still a fairly bare bones thing. I tried it. I was warping all over the place and disappearing and stuff. We are also keenly aware of the fact that our console players have been very patient, as some of you have had difficulties getting multiplayer working at all for quite a while now. We're relieved to say that after analyzing save files and those who have been graciously sent them to us, we have made good progress. Okay. Will the lobby size for Xbox be increased? No plans for that. What is it, 3? Low memory on the Series S does not allow to increase player count without a significant rework. I don't know. This is tech stuff I don't get. You know, they got Call of Duty games on there with Warzone 64 players or something like that. I know it's different, but 3 players though? I think it's 3, isn't it? It's not more than 4 anyways. Do you have any plans to upgrade graphics to a higher version of Unreal? Oh, to 5. Okay. I know we do now. Of course, Unreal 5, Engine 5 is exciting new tech, so we have been looking at that as sheer curiosity. However, improvements would be only visible if we were to remake or mask the game. Right, okay. They would switch to UE5, but it would look the same. I've seen that already in other games. They just do a UE5 update, and then the game looks identical. But I'm no expert on that. I'm sure there's a few things that change. Could you provide a detailed time frame for the long-term support area hunters specifying when content creation and support will cease? That's a big question. My answer is it will cease when the publisher says you're not making enough money or something like that. At the start, we saw Way of the Hunter as a long-term project under the condition that players show up, buy our game, and support us over time. Under the condition, yeah, well, that's business. That would be the publisher condition. You gotta make money. It brings us a lot of joy that you did turn up and that you do keep supporting us. Okay. For 2024, we have more to announce in addition to what we already know about from the roadmap, but we will only be able to talk some of these closer to the releases due to ongoing talks with potential partners. So for the midterm, that's just gobbledygook. So for the midterm, you can look forward to a nice mix of free and paid content, including a few surprises. As for the longer term, okay, the plans are being outlined, but will always depend on what makes sense at the time. And since details can sometimes change, yeah, okay, no, that's fine. I get the feeling they're just doing it year by year. They'll plan. I think for year 2. This is my guess. Is of course they planned for it and already had it in production, but needed it approved, right? So, and they did. So that's good. Year 2 got approved, but I think it'll be the same for every year that goes forward, right? What are the plans for the implementation of the Brazilian Portuguese language? Right. This was brought up a lot. I had someone in. There's a community that watches my channel that comments sometimes, and they asked me to ask the devs about this about a year ago, and I did. And all I got was they're looking into it, right? But looks like they can't do that, I guess. I'm not too sure. Oh no, look at this. Can you explain herd management to us? Okay, I'm not going to read this one. We've done a lot into this. Well, I won't. I'll pause the video for a second. I'll read through it. Okay, how long is the video? It's coming into 25 minutes. Okay, I know it's a lot of me talking, but that's basically what the channel is. So, anyways, I am going to read this just because it'll bring up a few things. So, first of all, we will refer to as herd management would be more accurately called habitat management. Okay, that's good. That's how I view it, as the habitat, grassland, or a species. I've always treated it as all the herds are just one big herd because they all mingle, not physically in the game, but in like the data of the game. Is the driving factor of fitness deer within it. At the start of a new in-game year, new mule deer will usually spawn in place. What do you mean usually? Well, I guess it could be altered by how many doe are taken out. In place of those that died in the previous year, the fitness of new spawns is determined by the average fitness of grassland mule deer. Oh, look, they're using my example, the grassland mule deer test. Well, that's the one I always use. At the turn of the year, the higher the average fitness, the higher the chance, it's not a sure thing, that new spawns will have high fitness. It's an abstraction of removing animals from the gene pool so that they cannot reproduce while leaving the remaining animal population to do so. Okay, that makes sense. That's why you should target and call lower than average fitness animals if you want to increase the average fitness in habitat and have a higher chance of high fitness animals in the following year. Figuring out which animals to call is a major decision-making part of the gameplay. Yep, that's people like that. In Way of the Hunter, the safest and most common method that our players tend to use is to target one-star matures, which most certainly have a lower or fairly low fitness. Even the low-fit calls can also help. Field judging species with antlers based on their size and symmetry relative to their age is another method popular. Okay, that's good. One point that we would like to drive home is that calling in just one or two herds will have some effect, but it will be very slow and may initially produce what will seem like random results. I don't know, it just doesn't have much results at all. It's just, the average is about the same, so you're just seeing, anyways. That's because your new spawn is a product of several herds, not just the one you target. Yeah, so that one's been a big thing in the community for a while. People trying to, the instinct is to think that the specific herd is the main factor in the next fitness, and there's been confusion for a long time. It never made sense to me from the gameplay point of view and how they described it. I've always treated it as all the herds were basically one big herd. So if you just, if you had like one herd that had a bunch of high fits in it, it was more coincidence than that herd specific herd. But now that's something people disagree with for sure. And at one point, I think Michael confused the situation more about a year ago because he mentioned there was a factor of specific herd fitness having it, but it was kind of backpedaled on from what I've seen later on. So anyways, I mostly ignore the herd level stuff, and I just treat the habitat as one big herd, and it makes it more simple to understand. And I think that's basically how the math rolls. Anyways, no one knows for sure, really. We strongly recommend that you keep track of most and ideally all herds of your chosen species with one habitat. Well, this here is reinforcing the way that I do it, so anyways. And call in as many as you can. If you do that, it will not take too many in-game years to produce some impressive trophy bucks, unless you did what I did and it broke it somehow. There is a lot more detail that we could go into, and we may do so someday, but there are two principles will not let you down. One, take low fitness animals across the habitat. Two, allow time to pass. Patience is the real key. Yeah, see, I didn't have patience. I did it all 1 year, and then it broke it, but anyways. How are we doing? We're almost done? Oh, we're almost done. How will you balance player expectations and demands with your own roadmap and intention of the game? They are not the same. Many requests here for night vision, high-powered rifle scopes and spotting scopes, pistols, dogs, and a lot of paraphernalia from the Hunter and Call of the Wild. Okay, this sounds like a seasoned Way of the Hunter player question. Will popular demand be a deciding factor? And if not, why not? Hey, that's a pretty good question. Let's see what they say. We are fully aware of all the possible options to enhance a hunting game. Almost every kind of map, animal, firearm, equipment, or feature that would make sense in a hunting game is something that we have discussed internally at one point or another. Yeah, they probably talked about every single option. But at a relatively modest team size of less than 60 people, it's all the more important for us to weigh every decision carefully. So they prioritize more Steyr rifles. We think about how time-consuming it would be to do something, and to do it well. How much it would enhance the gameplay, and how much the community is interested in it. Okay, that all makes sense. We kind of knew that too. It's just sort of the conclusions they're coming to is interesting sometimes. When we see overwhelming demand for something that's relatively quick and easy to do, Hunter Sense Blur. Yeah. The Hunter Sense Blur was quick and easy to do, no doubt, but it took a year and a half. Well, I guess not a year and a half, a year. And then it's in our line or our vision for the game. We try to move quickly if our plans allow it. When we make longer term plans for bigger features, we look at the list of features that we have always wanted in the game, the list of features that our community is clamoring for, and then see where the two meet. If the resulting items are in our production capabilities, they tend to get a bump in priority. When there's a community requested feature that goes against our vision, non-hunting game systems such as survival mechanics, fishing, or hunting approaches that seriously violate ethical methods, we usually make a fairly quick decision not to pursue it. Similarly, if there are serious technical reasons not to do something, the final decision is simple to make. As much as we hate disappointing our players, we need to prioritize spending development time on viable features. Alright. Once again, thank you for the deluge of questions, and sorry to anyone whose inquiry did not address. Okay, that's fine. Alright, that's a safe document for them. Alright, so that's the main bulk of the video. I don't know, I don't know how popular a video that I do where I'm just sort of reading their document would be. But I do know a few of you guys that are interested in such things, so that's kind of my opinion on that. What are we at? 32 minutes? My mic seems to be working pretty good. Maybe I'll keep using it, keep yammering on here. I do want to go to the video I just did there, and just address a couple of the comments, I think. I'm going to load it up on my other screen. Yeah, this is going to take me a moment to go through. I just loaded up there, and it's got its third dislike. So I don't usually monitor likes or dislikes or anything, only in specific situations where I need to know if a certain amount of people, like if there's a certain amount that are actually watching a series or something like that, and I'll ask and say, do you want the series to continue? Just for this episode, push the like button so I know how many are out there. Because some of the analytics are vague anyways, but I watched it on this one because I thought it was going to get bashed. But only 3 dislikes, 97 likes, so there you go. 100 people actually hit the little button, so I think that's a pretty good ratio there. So that's kind of cool. Now, yeah, I gotta read through a couple and try and find the ones I want to talk about. So I'm looking through these comments again, and sorry I don't have much to show on the screen because I don't want to pull the comments over. I don't actually know YouTube etiquette for like putting people's names up on the video. I mean it's a public comment, so but anyways, I'll probably won't really quote who says what. But I definitely appreciate all the positive ones, and some people put so much effort into their responses that I sort of want to put the info into the video, but I won't have enough time. Like the video's already long. But there's some really good ones in there, and I know the experience I have with the game is identical to other people's experience. Because some of the people that are agreeing with me in there, when they write their response or their comment, their description of the game is so well done, like how they're experiencing it, because they're putting a lot of effort into the comment. It's pretty much identical to how I would explain how things, like how they're struggling with it. Like some people a lot of people are playing Ranger. I find a lot of people are moving into Ranger, not because I guess maybe because they're getting better at the game, but I think a lot of people are moving into Ranger because of they really want that sim part, right? And so they're I kind of tell it. I kind of say that the longer you play the game, the more you start moving into Ranger, and I kind of, well, not jokingly, but I say that they're kind of taking shelter from the rest of the game and going into Ranger. Because if you go into Ranger and you go into the free hunt mode, it's kind of like a sandbox hunting simulator. Then you can make your own rules and oh, there's a video I can promote. I'll have to bring it up one of these days. I might do a video doing a play session like that. Cactor, he's a solid long-term Way of the Hunter player. He did a video showing how he does his hunts in Ranger mode. And so players are basically making their own rules and doing what they can within the sandbox world of Way of the Hunter, right? But doing that, you're pretty much ignoring most of the game that the devs have made. But that's why I call it, people are kind of taking shelter in the Ranger and making their own game. Anyways, but back to that comment. Like there's several comments that describe how I describe the game. It's so accurately the same. It's kind of spooky when I read it. I'm like, wow, that is. And it's not them just repeating what I say in videos or anything like that. This is when they write it out. It's pretty much how my experience is too. And there's a 1-star mature we should actually take out. Maybe we'll do some hunting. What do I got? Oh, yeah, the 30-06, right? 50 meters. We're not even gonna worry about doing anything here. We're gonna go. There we go. You gonna charge me? No? Good. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thanks again for everyone with the positive support on it and everything. And yeah, a lot of people had such kind words and just like what I'm looking at there. Just their descriptions are just matching mine. It's interesting to see. Oh yeah, so here's an example here. This person writes, another issue I have with the game is that it is nearly impossible to hunt with a bow on some animals without collars in Ranger mode. So I completely agree here. If you don't have collars and you're in Ranger difficulty, man, you're in a rough go. And I don't have a bow on me, right? But they need to, if the sight is like the sight has got no zoom to it, right? But they do need to do some kind of zoom to help with that. To help with the bow sight. I can't really show it because I don't really have it. But the way they have it now, you're really just lining up pixels, like really small pixels, trying to make the shot. But they continue here. The only strategy I figured out is to wait in their habitat until they come at their usual time. I believe the spook meter should be better implemented. I don't mind spending 20 minutes trying to get close to an animal, but even when I'm crawling very slowly and stopping from time to time, they get spooked easily. And that's exactly what happens to me. You gotta be, like, it's not just 20 minutes, so you really gotta go slow. It's almost impossible to hunt them with a bow unless they come to you. They should tweak this aspect so that bow hunting is challenging, but not completely impossible for certain animals. Yeah, so that's a big one in the community as well, because you'll get people saying, oh, the game's too easy, but if you're just doing bow hunting and you're on Ranger and it's a skittish animal that doesn't have a collar, like there's no way to bring them to you, it is beyond the threshold of most people to enjoy the experience laying down and going that far. Actually, you got to be in the super slow sneak mode if you got the perk, and just doing this. You have to do it for a long time, or you're risking, taking a bad shot because you're in Ranger. You don't have hunter sense, and the bows are very difficult to use. Well, some of them. Depends which one you're using, right? But so I definitely agree there. That's really rough. But it is Ranger, right? And so I don't know what they would do about that. They want to keep it difficult. But that's just one example of someone, and there's several that do this that pretty much mirror my experience with the game. Okay, so I found a new comment that I want to go into. I gotta check the time of the video actually. Okay, about 40 minutes, right? Okay. Yeah, I've been scrolling through them while sort of paying attention to what I'm doing here. And like this isn't to toot my own horn or whatever in it, but it was nice to see. Like, I'm scrolling through them trying to find the ones that I want to talk about, and a lot of them are like, I completely agree, I agree, and this is good, and they're all it's all good, and so it's awesome. So again, I'm not using names just because I don't know the etiquette on it, but I did find one here. Let's pick this guy up first. I'm surprised the 30-06 didn't instantly knock out that long. I guess quartering him too much for that, I guess. 40%. Let's sell him there. I'm going to browse through because I'm not going to address everything. Basically, it starts off of some of the video I agree with you and some I don't. And then they go through, a fairly well-written and thought out a comment. So I'm not going to touch every point. I think they have about 7 points or something like that. I'm just going to take a look and see here. I've read it before, I just need to refresh on it. Oh, I should just address the first one. Tree hitboxes. You don't shoot through trees in real life. Maybe you haven't done a lot of real-world hunting. A limb the diameter of your pinky will deflect a bullet's trajectory more than you think. So first response, this isn't me being defensive, but yes, I do recognize a small limb will deflect a bullet. Are the hitboxes too big? Yes. But you seem to be irritated you can't shoot through a limb. And I doubt it's holding up tree stands. It's probably money and time. Yeah, okay. So I do get it there. My main concern is you can't shoot through leaves, or like the gaps between the leaves and the sticks, like the invisible stuff. Like if it's right on that branch, fine. But I don't think they're going to be doing hitboxes right on these branches, like right on the limb. I think their solution is just to cut the hitbox out. Just have the trunk. That's basically what Hunter Classic does. But no, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, you don't shoot blind through something, but it's also a video game. I mean, if I'm impatient, I want to plunk one through here. I should be able to do it. Like, you should be able to make the mistakes if you want to. But yeah, my main thing is like the little leaves and stuff like that, and the invisible walls where it looks like you can shoot through and you can't. That's my main point on that one. And about the tree stand thing, no, I disagree there. Money and time, I disagree. From my example I used before, if you could edit the game or had like the dev tools and you parked yourself in one of these trees right now, like just warped yourself up there and pretended you're in a tree stand, I think it'd be a horrible experience. I think you'd be hitting all sorts of invisible walls and not being able to do much anything. I think they get so many complaints. I think that's what's holding it up. But that's my opinion. That's your opinion. That's okay. Like, they're just it's the world of the opinions. Like, it's not I'm not saying I'm right or you're wrong or I'm wrong. That's what I think. I don't think it'd be a good experience right now if they put tree stands in there. Then he brings up sound indicators. So you want the game to be more arcade-like and easier. Call of the Wild is very arcade if that's what you're looking for. But I would guess the devs were trying to go the less arcade route for this game. Yeah, they were. But kind of what I was saying earlier in the video, they're trying to be too many things. So there's the Ranger, which is the sim. And then here, I'll just pop out the main menu here. This is what I mean. And it's not necessarily what I want, it's the direction they're going. So if you go with story mode, right, and you pick your difficulty. So these 4 difficulties down here, this is the video game part, right? And the sim part is hidden behind this little Ranger button. So the sim part of the game's right here, and the rest of it's all video game with flashy lights and indicators floating around and everything like that. And then their sandbox mode is basically a free hunt, which is just a tacked on thing, right? Just to appease the complaints about not being able to pick your character. But they've got the 3 things going. Not all of them, like the Ranger mode, the sim, is not fleshed out well enough, and the sandbox one obviously isn't. It's just, here's the same game, pick your character, right? And they're clearly focusing on the easier stuff since they add hiker. It's not what I want the game to be. If I didn't do content or videos for the game, I'd be a Ranger all the time. But I'd be frustrated with it by now because of how not fleshed out it is. Basically, you can't tell, wolves apart and things like that. But their clear focus is on the lower 4 difficulties. So they're already looking at that. They added hiker. They made the camera go farther. They made things glow more. That's just where they're going. The next comment was about the third equipment slot, or the equipment slot thing I mentioned. Yeah, that's a little thing, but it wasn't necessarily about just the equipment slot, because it says it takes time and money to remove things too. Yeah, my point was more of the philosophy behind why they had it in the first place. They should have had the foresight to see that they're just having this empty squares in there, and they're gonna, it's been a year and a half. They should be able to see stuff like that coming. And it is a little thing, that's right, but it's the little things all adding together, right? Yeah, so no, I agree it's a little thing. Like, I wouldn't put resources in it now. That's, I mean, when you're making a video, it is hard to be fully clear. Especially, I usually do mine in just the one take, just like I'm doing this. I don't really do any editing. I'm just quantity over quality guy. But yeah, my main point of that is how their decision making process. Like, anyways, I won't go into it again because I've got the video, but it's they shouldn't really have had that in there in the first place, because we got two binoculars that are pretty much the same, and you got 3 slots for just a pair of binoculars. It just it shows their hand that the game wasn't ready. Like, my opinion is it was definitely an early access thing. Like, it should have been early access. The fourth point they make is about MP and about most people are on Discord anyways. I disagree there, because it's on consoles, and I know the consoles have their own way of doing it, but it's a very standard thing to have text chat in there and be able to have your own voice, like in multiplayer. It makes the argument of limited time and money. Well, yes, but there's also planning for the limited time and money, and prioritize. The multiplayer was clearly just tacked on to get a check box on the box. Like, I think it was a requirement that the game had multiplayer for it to be released. Like, I imagine it was a publisher requirement. A game cannot be released without functional multiplayer. And they just had it so low on the priority list that they just got it basically function so they could release the game. That's my opinion on it. Sure, they have limited funds and time and everything like that. But the question is priority. They should have prioritized it way higher, in my opinion. Next point is about sound indicators. They agree their sound be corresponding sound for every action, terrain, type you interact with. Yep, that makes sense. But I don't want a sound meter. Okay, I don't require a sound meter, but I do, like, the sound meter wouldn't be required if the game had reliable feedback of sound. Like, if I walk into this and actually heard, like, the sounds you hear in game, like if it's a loud sound, then it goes further. In the game right now, you can have a loud sound not travel anywhere at all, and a quiet sound travel 200 meters. So, I mean, they gotta pick. If they're not gonna make the sound, reliable just using our ears, you do need some kind of indicator on the UI or something. But yeah, I don't really necessarily want them to copy. Like, I don't want them to copy Call of the Wild at all, but it is a hunting game, and I mean, all hunting games are going to have the same core mechanics. So there is going to be some, like, it's not really copying, but you got to, like, take tents, for example, right? That's a big heated thing in the community. They can put tents in, but everybody's thinking about the Call of the Wild tents. I mean, they can still use tents and not copy. You just put your own flavor on the thing. The Way of the Hunter's already got tons it's in their own flavor, like with all the herd management and how it just functions, right? So they could do some kind of sound indicator somewhere, but it could be different, or who knows. Or they could just fix, just however loud I'm hearing myself being is how loud I am, and not have me sprinting louder than the Jeep is. The next one is, yes, the map is lacking in what we can and can't do, and I would love to see more functionality, but you're comparing coding web page with a game, not the same thing. Yeah, well, I said that in the video. I understood that it was a web page, and that is completely different. But I also understand Nick Hebu was one guy doing his spare time, and they have a staff of 60 developers. It comes back to the priority again. And I'm just saying that one didn't have to be in. Well, it should have been, maybe. I just think it's a selling point of the game if they really made that map nice. with all the herd management stuff and things like that. Oh, let's take a look at this one. Hunting pressure, because this is a touchy one since it's new. Sorry, I'm standing still in the game. I'm trying to read here. So again, you compare other games to this one because they have something you want and this one doesn't. Well, no, I don't want exactly what Call of the Wild has. I just want an indication of what the game, like I want the game relaying back what it's done. Not me completely guessing. I've never understood the argument. If Call of the Wild is a feature you want, why aren't you playing it instead? Well, that's where the, you know, when you're making a video, I guess some confusion gets in there. I don't need purple splotches on the map. They can do their own flavor. It just needs to be something. I assume you want to play this game because it's less of arcade. I'm not too sure anymore why I'm playing it. Because I play on Hiker, right? But I want to play in Ranger. You seem to want to take a game that appears to have tried and take a more sim approach rather than the arcade approach of Cabela's or Call of the Wild and turn it into those games. Why? Those games already exist. Mainly because, as I was saying earlier, they're already going that direction. They're trying to sell game, like that's where they all kind of end up. They got to pick what they are. If they're a video game, which they seem to be focusing on, they got to implement video game stuff because they're heavily targeting the consoles. And simulator games are not like they should be on consoles, but it's just not the world we're in. The console, a lot of the console purchases are just fast action things like that, right? So like previous in your comments, you're talking about resources and time and picking, you know, what to do, right? Well, that's what they're doing. They're picking the stuff that is going to sell. It's not me turning it into it. I just see where the game's going. But yeah, like I was saying, I would play Ranger if I didn't do all the videos to try and figure out the game. And then it ends off here, just a guess, but I don't think you have much understand of coding. I have a basic understanding of coding, but yeah, very basic. Or much experience in how to manage large production of a business of it. Oh no, I'm perfectly intelligent in that area. It's not like your home budget in that every action costs money. Complicated, but fact. So here, I do have an issue with the comment here. You are underestimating what I would say my experience or intelligence is. So far it was respectful. I'm gonna have to reverse my thing on here because he ends with, "Now your devoted simps may come after me. I don't care. This isn't personal." So it isn't personal. I get that. But when you go devoted simps, you're making it personal right there because you're just calling other people simps. So you just sort of, yeah, no, I know it's the internet. You probably shouldn't have put that last part in. I like your content, except this one. And I would think a rational person, which I assume you are from your videos, would welcome a different opinion. Well, I do. That's what I mean. I don't mean to be, I don't actually know how I'm coming across. I'm just trying to have a respectful thing. I liked how much effort and like energy you put into it, and I understand that when I make a video, some of it might not come completely clear. However, during the end of the comment, that took kind of a rough little turn there. You kind of made it. You're kind of asking for commenters to come for you there with the simps thing, but I don't think anyone did. But yeah, it's borderline there anyways. But anyways, we'll probably move on. I just want to check the replies actually on that. I can't remember what I said. Oh boy, if it's going long, I put too much time into it. The reply button broken. I can't see what what the replies are at the moment. No biggie. I just want to see if there's anything else I want to touch on. Okay, so we'll just aim the video for about an hour. That'll be fun. New Year's Eve. Little chat or whatever. The one I was trying to find, which also didn't agree with me. Again, the one I just read, completely fine until the end. I don't think. Anyways, I don't think you should go after the people in the comment section with the same thing. But anyways, there was another one. I can't find it though, and it was really detailed written. Maybe it's in the reply of that one. I can't really open it though. But anyways, I wouldn't have time to address it anyways. But they put a lot of effort into writing that one too. It's like I I respect that for sure. Like it's just a different opinion one. But I think I remember one part in there, and I want to bring this up. Is I was talking about noise indicators. So those bubbles there, the off-screen noise indicator. Like if I go this way, there should be something on the left side of the screen indicating that there's a noise over there. And if I remember right, this person said that was dumb because you're supposed to be using your ears or whatever, right? But here's the thing: I of course don't have any numbers, but there's going to be a lot of people playing on TV. Like me, I can't put headphones on for various reasons, and other people can't as well. And a lot of people just play on stereo TV, and all you have is left, right, and you can't really tell. And a lot of the times, if the volume's quieter or anything like that, you can't get any kind of direction, right? If I was looking over here at the current volume I'm at, I wouldn't have heard that sound or stick snap or anything. So it's more of a, the technology that's out there for like the majority of people's setups. There's a reason there would be indicators on the side, and that's if you're far away from the TV and can't hear that well, or don't have headsets or don't have a good sound setup. That's what it's there for. It's for enjoyment of the game. It's like they have the accessibility options, right? There's all sorts of accessibility options, and well, that brings me to one of the points is they have like color blindness accessibility to it. Well, there's plenty of people with hearing impairments and stuff like that. What if you have trouble hearing out one of your ears? You just have your stereo TV. You wouldn't stand a chance knowing which direction it's coming from, or if you're using headphones, right? So as far as an accessibility thing goes, they should have indicators for sound on the screen doing the direction. Now, they should always have the option to turn them off, so that's what I mean. There's no downside to putting this in here, since they already have hiker difficulty with all these flashy things around there anyways. But I wanted to bring that one up, because when I seen that, I'm just like, no, put a sound indicator in there for people that, if anything, for an accessibility thing. I thought he was looking bigger than that, but just a 2-star. I'm gonna say he's middle of the road, doesn't matter. We'll probably let him go there. I just want to end with when watching these mule deer go by, with someone with a more positive one here. I'm just going to pretty much read it. 100% agree with you, Bumble, especially when it comes to long-term use of the game. I really like the idea of having ongoing herd management goals for each reserve to help continue the storyline gameplay once you've completed the game. Yeah, that's kind of, I talk about like the meta of it, and it's the end game stuff. The bulletproof tree branches need to go too. Yeah, that's for sure. I think their philosophy was to build a hunting simulator, not game. Yeah, they wanted to build a... Well, it's weird, because if they're building a hunting simulator, why in the world did they have a hunter sense dot, like the little aim, like the little indicator? Like, this is... Like, the design was based on this red dot in your scope. That's not... I don't know. I've never liked the hunter sense dot, but in a simulator, you don't put that in there. So, I don't know. It's always been a hodgepodge thing. I don't know what their philosophy was there. They wanted to make it a more serious one for sure, but I don't know. It's never reached simulator level if you got all the stuff on the screen. That's a big reason why I believe they've left so many environmental feedback details out of the game. Yeah. Well, no, because they did that for Ranger. Ranger does that. The rest of it's video game stuff. I think they left it out of the game because they lack of foresight and stuff, and a misguided design philosophy. They at some point they wanted to make a game and a sim and try to do the same thing, right? Like both of them at once. But yeah, I can see the point there. If they're trying to straddle that line between sim and game, they would try to minimize what's on the screen, right? I don't know, it's kind of weird. This is not a simulator where you get the game and just go as you would in real life. But since they've tried to make it both, there's a disconnect in how it comes across to us. Yeah, I agree. We don't know what to make of it. if it's a game, we need more environmental input feedback to us. If it's a simulator, we need more obvious cues we can pick up on that help us understand the environment and situation we're hunting in. In that moment of in-game time right now, it feels like it's somewhere in between, lacking identity. All right, yep. So yeah, right on the mark in my opinion. That's sort of what the video was about. All right, I'm at the hour mark. I didn't actually plan on going that long, but you know me, it feels like the live streams I used to do. Sorry, I haven't been live streaming. I don't really know how to work that in anymore either. But I know some of you would find that kind of interesting, and hopefully some clarification on a few things. And yeah, looking forward to Way of the Hunter in 2024. So I think we'll sign off here with a little bit about the future of the channel and this 250-meter shot with the ever inaccurate 30-06. Look at the big hunter sense dot. 200 meters, and then wind's a bit heavy to the right, quartering away. Get away that dot. Who knows where the thing's gonna hit? Oh, let's just send it in here. Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. Are you even running? Yeah, they're gonna run. Slow to react to that. Nice job, 30-06. You hit where I was pointing. Okay. Yeah, so as far as the channel goes and 2024 for the regulars, there is going to be changes, pretty much starting on the 1st. I'm still evaluating what to do exactly. I think for... anyways, there's like work that's picking up and stuff like that. I got the other games running, and they're gonna be the channel is gonna look more like just a game playthrough channel. The videos are easier like to make, and they're just me playing through a game, right? For the first little while, it might only be one video a day. I've been doing the double, like sort of a schedule, 2 a day. But it's going to be SnowRunner, Bomber Crew, and what's the other game play? Oh yeah, the other hunting game, Pro Hunts. Pro Hunts will be ending eventually, but just one a day, just sort of one after the other. And then Way of the Hunter was like is an anchor to the channel, and it still is. But I'm not too sure how many Way of the Hunter videos I'm going to do. I haven't decided yet, because it's going to be one of those games, just a playthrough game, one a day, and then Way of the Hunter will be tacked on. Not really tagged, well, I guess kind of tagged on. There'll be 2 videos someday because of the days that I release a Way of the Hunter video. But I haven't figured out how many I'm going to be doing. We'll just see how that goes. The Alaskan Road Trucker, I have to decide how to fit that in and what I'm doing there. The Angler, I'm just kind of monitoring it. I'm not sure I'm going to have time for fishing. I want a fishing game on the channel, but I got too much rolling. I mean, there's the 2 kind of game contents you can have. You can have like the live service kind of game where you're focusing on it and paying attention to the news and all the changes, stuff like that. Or you can just do like a playthrough of like an older game, and you don't have to worry about any news. You're just playing through the thing. So they're typically easier to make, but let's pick this guy up. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's not going to be exactly like it was with the two videos every single day. It's going to be one and then a Way of the Hunter here. But we'll see how the news goes and everything like that in the new year. Apparently those tripod stands are getting the finishing touches on them. So anyways, there's the shot. That is pretty much what I was trying to do. And it was, yeah, it skulled the right lung. 44%. Good, get rid of him. Alright, so I'll sign off for now. That was a great big talk. I'm going to take a big break after that one. Going forward, I don't think I'll be repeating any of this or like going on about it. That Q&A was interesting, and with 2024 coming up with the previous video and stuff like that, I thought I would do a, like, this isn't a rant or anything, just a discussion video. And then I'll probably just we'll just continue on from there and we'll just go back to normal hunting videos or whatever, and see what's happening. So yeah, hopefully my microphone did work out okay, because hopefully I didn't record for an hour and have like bad feedback or something. Anyways, thanks very much for watching, guys, and for all your support there on the channel for the last year and a half with Way of the Hunter and beyond. There's people on that were subscribed even longer than that. So thanks for that. So I hope everyone's going to have a good new year, and happy New Year's Eve. Take care, everybody, and see you later. Happy hunting.